What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actresses walks onto a daytime talk show expecting a normal interview, only to be blindsided by a host who refuses to let her speak? In just 28 seconds of one cutting remark, the entire set would erupt into chaos. Cameras would keep rolling on an exchange nobody saw coming, and Kate Winslet would make a decision that would silence an entire studio. The Loose Women studio was buzzing that morning. Kate Winslet had arrived to promote her latest film, settling into the familiar purple chair alongside the panel. Denise Welch sat at the head of the table, flanked by panelists Nadia Sawalha, Kay Adams, and Jane Moore. The audience applauded as Kate smiled warmly, seemingly ready for what she thought would be a pleasant conversation about her career and new project. Denise started with what seemed like a standard opening. Kate, lovely to have you here. Now, before we talk about the film, I have to ask, you've been in this industry for how long now? 30 years? More? Kate nodded politely. Well, I started quite young, so yes, it's been quite a journey. A journey, Denise repeated, her tone shifting slightly. That's one way to put it. Some might say you've been very lucky to stay relevant for so long in an industry that usually discards women after a certain age. The smile on Kate's face flickered for just a moment. Nadia shifted uncomfortably in her seat, glancing between Denise and Kate. The audience fell quiet, sensing something off in the exchange. I wouldn't call decades of hard work luck, Kate replied calmly, maintaining her composure. I've been fortunate to work with incredible directors and tell meaningful stories, but it's taken dedication and perseverance. Denise leaned back in her chair, a smirk playing at her lips. Dedication. Right. Or maybe it helps when you fit a certain look that Hollywood loves. Not all of us have that advantage. Kay Adams jumped in quickly, trying to redirect. Kate, tell us about your new film. What drew you to this particular role? Kate seemed grateful for the lifeline. Thank you, Kay. The character is a woman facing incredible adversity, and I was moved by her strength and vulnerability. She's complex and flawed and beautifully human. Beautifully human, Denise interrupted, talking over Kate's last words. You know what I find interesting? You always seem to play these tortured, complex characters. Do you ever worry you're typecast as the serious, dramatic actress who can't do comedy? Jane Moore's eyes widened. Denise, I think that's a bit what, Jane? Denise snapped, not looking away from Kate. I'm just asking honest questions. Isn't that what we do here? Kate took a breath, her professional smile still in place, but her eyes showing the first signs of frustration. I've done a variety of roles throughout my career. Comedy, drama, period pieces, contemporary stories. I choose projects that speak to me artistically. Artistically, Denise said with a dismissive wave. See, that's the thing about actresses like you. Everything is so precious, so artistic. You can't just admit you take the roles that will get you awards attention, the audience murmured uncomfortably. Nadia tried to intervene. I think what Kate is saying is that she's passionate about her craft, which we should all admire. Denise shot Nadia a sharp look. I wasn't talking to you, Nadia. I'm trying to have a conversation with our guest, if she can step down from her pedestal long enough to be real with us. Kate's posture stiffened. I'm sorry. I don't understand where this hostility is coming from. I came here today in good faith to have a conversation. Hostility? Denise laughed, but there was no warmth in it. This is just how we talk here, Kate. Maybe you're used to everyone kissing your feet and telling you how wonderful you are, but here we keep it real. We ask the questions other shows are too scared to ask. Kay tried again. Perhaps we should move on to talking about Kate's charity work. I understand you're very involved with several organizations. Oh, here we go, Denise said, rolling her eyes dramatically. The charity work. Every celebrity has their pet charity. It's like a required accessory, isn't it? Makes you look good, tax deductible, great publicity. Kate's calm facade was beginning to crack. My charity work is deeply personal to me. I don't discuss it for publicity. I discuss it to raise awareness for causes I believe in. Right, Denise said mockingly. And it just happens to make you look like a saint while you're at it. Tell me, Kate, do you ever get tired of being so perfect all the time? Jane Moore put her hand on the table firmly. Denise, this is completely out of line. Kate is our guest. And as our guest, she should be able to handle a real conversation, Denise fired back. I'm sick of these Hollywood types coming on our show expecting us to fawn all over them. This is a British talk show. We don't do fake here. Kate's voice remained steady, but there was steel underneath now. I have never asked anyone to fawn over me. I've answered every question politely and honestly. What I won't tolerate is being disrespected for no apparent reason. Disrespected? Denise scoffed. You want to talk about disrespect? You waltz in here with your designer outfit, your perfect hair, your Oscar winner attitude, acting like you're doing us a favor by gracing us with your presence? Nadia spoke up, her voice firm. Denise, stop. This isn't fair and you know it. Stay out of this, Denise snapped at Nadia before turning back to Kate. You know what your problem is? You've been told you're special for so long, and you actually believe it. You think you're better than everyone else. Kate shook her head slowly. I have never thought that, nor have I ever claimed that. I'm simply an actress who loves her job. I don't know what I've done to upset you, but this ambush is completely uncalled for. Ambush? Denise's voice rose. This is called journalism, sweetheart. This is called not letting celebrities control the narrative. You want to come on television? Then you need to be ready for tough questions. Tough questions are fine, Kate said, her voice rising to match Denise's volume. What you're doing isn't asking tough questions. You're being intentionally cruel and trying to provoke me. Kay Adams looked directly at the camera, clearly uncomfortable. Perhaps we should take a quick break. We're not taking a break, Denise said sharply. Kate, let me ask you something. Do you think you deserve all the success you've had? Do you think you're actually that talented? Or do you think maybe you've just been in the right place at the right time? The studio fell completely silent. Even the camera operators seemed to freeze. Kate stared at Denise for a long moment, and when she spoke, her voice was quiet but clear. I have worked incredibly hard for everything I've achieved. I've spent countless hours perfecting my craft, taking risks, facing rejection, pushing myself beyond my limits. I've never taken my opportunities for granted, and I've always tried to be gracious and humble about my career. But I will not sit here and be attacked by someone who clearly has their own issues to work through. My own issues? Denise stood up from her chair. How dare you psychoanalyze me? You don't know anything about me. Kate remained seated, her voice calm. And you don't know anything about me, yet you've spent the last several minutes making assumptions and accusations. I came here to talk about my work. If you're not interested in that, then I don't understand why you booked me. Jane Moore nodded in agreement. She has a point, Denise. This interview has been hostile from the start. Denise whirled on Jane. Oh, so now you're on her side? Of course you are. Everyone always defends the celebrity. Nobody wants to hold them accountable. Accountable for what? Kate asked, genuinely confused. What exactly am I being held accountable for? Being successful? Doing my job well? I don't understand what you want from me. I want you to be real, Denise shouted. I want you to admit that you're not perfect, that you've stepped on people to get where you are, that you've played the game just like everyone else in Hollywood. Kate stood up slowly, removing her microphone. I have never claimed to be perfect. I'm a human being with flaws and struggles like everyone else. But I refuse to confess to sins I haven't committed just to satisfy whatever narrative you've decided to create about me. Nadia reached out toward Kate. Kate, please don't go. This isn't what Loose Women is about. Denise is way out of line here. Don't you dare apologize for me, Denise snapped at Nadia. I'm the host of this show. Then act like it. Jane said sharply. A host is supposed to make guests feel welcome, not attack them. Denise's face flushed red. I will not be told how to do my job by any of you. This is my segment. My interview. Kate set her microphone on the table with a soft click. Actually, it's not. An interview requires two willing participants having a conversation. What this has been is a one-sided attack, and I won't be part of it. So you're just going to run away? Denise taunted. How very brave of you. Can't handle a little heat, so you're going to flee back to your ivory tower. Kate looked at Denise with something close to pity in her eyes. This isn't heat. This isn't even a debate. This is you trying to provoke me into a reaction, and I'm choosing not to give you that satisfaction. I hope whatever you're going through that's making you behave this way gets better. Don't you dare patronize me, Denise seethed, moving around the table toward Kate. You think you can just dismiss me like that? Kay stood up quickly, positioning herself between Denise and Kate. Denise, enough. This has gone too far. Get out of my way, Kay, Denise demanded, her voice rising. This is between me and her. There is no between you and her, Kay shot back. You've been attacking her unprovoked. This ends now. Denise pointed a finger at Kate, her hand trembling with anger. You come in here with your perfect reputation, your Oscar, your fancy career, and you expect us all to bow down. Well, I won't do it. Kate's voice remained remarkably calm. I never expected that. I expected basic professional courtesy, which apparently was too much to ask. Professional courtesy? Denise laughed bitterly. You want to talk about professional? How about all those actresses you've competed against over the years? How about all the roles you took that could have gone to someone else? Did you show them professional courtesy? Nadia gasped audibly. Denise, that's completely unfair. That's literally how acting works. People audition and get cast. Kate didn't steal anything from anyone. Stay out of this, Nadia, Denise shouted, whirling to face her. I'm so sick of everyone protecting her. Jane stood up now as well, her voice cutting through the chaos. Nobody is protecting her. We're trying to stop you from making an even bigger fool of yourself than you already have. Denise's eyes went wide. How dare you speak to me like that? How dare you speak to our guest the way you have, Jane countered. You've been rude, accusatory, and downright nasty from the moment Kate sat down. The audience erupted in applause again, May clearly siding with Jane. Denise looked around the studio wildly, seeming to realize for the first time that she had lost the room entirely. You're all against me, Denise said, her voice taking on a paranoid edge. All of you. The panel, the audience, the producers. You're all taking her side. There are no sides, Kate said gently. Or there shouldn't be. This could have been a lovely conversation about film, about storytelling, about the creative process. Instead, you've turned it into a confrontation. I turned it into? Denise's voice reached a fever pitch. You're the one who came in here with your superior attitude. What superior attitude? Kate asked, genuinely bewildered. I've been nothing but polite. I've answered questions. I've tried to engage respectfully. I don't know what you're seeing that isn't there, Kay interjected again. Denise, I've sat next to you through hundreds of interviews. This is not like you. Something else is going on here. Nothing is going on, Denise insisted, but her voice cracked slightly. I'm just trying to do honest television. Honest television doesn't mean cruel television, Nadia said firmly. You can ask tough questions without being vicious. You can challenge someone without attacking their character. Denise's shoulders tensed. I haven't attacked her character. Yes, you have, Jane said quietly. You've questioned her talent, her integrity, her motivations, her charity work. You've implied she's fake. She's privileged. She's lucky rather than skilled. Those are all character attacks. Kate nodded slowly. And I've tried to address each one with patience and honesty. But there's only so much someone can take before they have to ask themselves why they're subjecting themselves to this treatment. Because this is television, Denise exclaimed. Because this is what makes for interesting viewing. No, Kate said softly but firmly. Cruelty for entertainment stopped being acceptable a long time ago. We've evolved past that, or at least we should have. Kate gathered her belongings, her movements dignified and unhurried despite the chaos around her. The audience sat in stunned silence, some with their hands over their mouths in shock. A young woman in the front row called out, "Kate, we support you." Others joined in with words of encouragement, creating a chorus of support that seemed to only fuel Denise's anger further. "Oh, wonderful," Denise said sarcastically. "Now we're having audience participation in defending the poor, helpless celebrity." Kate turned to the audience with genuine appreciation. "Thank you all. Your kindness means more than you know in this moment." "Don't encourage them," Denise snapped. "This is not about them. This is about you and your inability to have a real conversation." Kate's patience, already worn thin, finally showed signs of fraying. A real conversation requires mutual respect. It requires both parties listening to each other. It requires good faith on both sides. None of those elements have been present here today. "You know what, Kate?" Denise called out as Kate began to walk away. "You're just proving my point. You can't handle reality. You need everything to be controlled and perfect." Kate paused and turned back, and her expression serene despite the turmoil. "What I can't handle is cruelty disguised as honesty. There's a difference between being direct and being deliberately hurtful. You've chosen the latter, and I'm choosing not to participate in it." "Running away is not choosing," Denise shot back. "It's cowardice." "Actually," Jane interjected, "walking away from a toxic situation is one of the bravest things a person can do. Kate doesn't owe you or anyone else the right to abuse her." Nadia nodded vigorously. "I completely agree." "Kate, I'm so sorry about this. This is not who we are as a show." Denise spun on her fellow panelists. "Stop apologizing for me. I'm trying to do real television here, asking real questions, and you're all undermining me." "Real television doesn't mean being cruel," Kay said quietly. "You've embarrassed all of us today, Denise. Truly embarrassed us." Kate looked at the three other panelists with genuine warmth. "Thank you for trying to intervene. I appreciate that more than you know, but I think it's best if I go." A producer rushed onto the set, looking panicked. "Kate, please, if we could just take a moment." Kate shook her head gently. "I'm afraid not. I was promised a professional interview environment, and that's clearly not what this is. I wish you all the best, but I can't stay." "See?" Denise addressed the camera directly. "This is what happens when you challenge these Hollywood elites. They can't take it. They crumble." Kate's voice cut through clearly. "I'm not crumbling. I'm making a choice. There's a difference between being challenged and being bullied. What you've done today is the latter, and I won't normalize that behavior by staying." The audience began to applaud. It started with one person, then another, then a wave of clapping filled the studio. Denise looked around, bewildered and angry at the response. "Oh, so now you're all on her side?" Denise said to the audience. "You're clapping for someone who can't handle a tough interview?" An audience member shouted out, "You weren't interviewing her, you were attacking her." Other voices joined in, expressing their disappointment and disapproval of Denise's behavior. The producer stepped forward, trying to regain control. "Ladies, if we could all just calm down for a moment," the producer said desperately. Kate remained poised, addressing the audience directly. "Thank you all for your support. I came here today hoping to have a meaningful conversation about my work and the things I'm passionate about. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible. I hope you all have a wonderful day." Denise's face contorted with rage. "Don't you dare play the victim here, Kate. You're not the wounded party." "I never said I was," Kate replied evenly. "I'm simply someone who recognizes when a situation is untenable and chooses to remove myself from it. That's not playing victim. That's self-respect. Jane stood up and moved toward Kate. Would you like me to walk you out? Kate smiled gratefully. That's very kind of you, but I'll be fine. Thank you, Jane. Nadia also stood. Kate, I just want you to know that this is not representative of how we usually conduct interviews. Denise has been completely out of order. I appreciate you saying that, Kate said warmly. It's clear you tried to intervene multiple times, and I'm grateful for that. Denise slammed her hand on the table. Stop thanking them and talking about me like I'm not here. If you have something to say to me, say it to my face. Kate turned to face Denise one final time. All right, I think you're deeply unhappy about something in your own life, and you've chosen to take that out on me. I forgive you for that, but I won't subject myself to more of it. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. I don't need your forgiveness, Denise spat. I don't need anything from you. Then we're in agreement, Kate said simply. Goodbye, Denise. As Kate walked toward the exit, Denise called after her. You'll regret this. Walking off a live show? Your publicist is going to have a field day with this. Kate didn't turn around, didn't pause, didn't give Denise the reaction she so desperately seemed to want. She simply continued walking, her head held high, her dignity intact. Kay looked directly at the camera. I think we need to go to a commercial break. We're not going to a break, Denise insisted, her voice shrill. We're going to talk about what just happened, about how Kate Winslet just proved everything I said about her. What you said about her was baseless and cruel, Jane said firmly. You owe her an apology. I owe her nothing, Denise retorted. She came on this show with an attitude, acting superior to all of us. Nadia shook her head in disbelief. That's not what happened, and you know it. From the moment she sat down, you were antagonistic. You didn't give her a chance. The producer appeared again, this time more insistent. Denise, we really need to break now. Fine, Denise snapped. Go to break. But when we come back, we're going to discuss exactly what happened here and why Kate Winslet couldn't handle a real conversation. As the cameras cut away, Kate Winslet was already in the corridor, away from the chaos, away from the hostility, away from a situation that had spiraled far beyond anything she could have anticipated. The door closed behind her with a decisive click. Back on the set, the three remaining panelists sat in uncomfortable silence, while Denise fumed in her chair. The audience continued to murmur among themselves, many shaking their heads in disapproval. Jane broke the silence. I've been doing this show for years, and I've never seen anything like that. That's because it was unconscionable, Nadia added. Kate handled herself with incredible grace, considering the circumstances. Oh, please, Denise muttered. You're all being ridiculous. Kay looked at Denise with genuine concern. What's really going on with you today? That wasn't journalism. That was personal. Nothing is going on with me, Denise insisted. I'm just tired of celebrities getting special treatment everywhere they go. Someone needs to hold them accountable. Accountable for what? Jane asked, exasperated. Kate Winslet is known for being professional, talented, and kind. She's never been involved in scandals. She does meaningful work both on screen and in her charity efforts. What exactly should she be held accountable for? Denise had no answer. She crossed her arms and stared at the table, her jaw set in a stubborn line. The producer approached the panel. We're back in 30 seconds. Denise, I need you to acknowledge what happened and move the show forward professionally. I'll handle it however I see fit, Denise said coldly. As the cameras came back on, Denise's demeanor had shifted slightly. She looked into the camera with a practiced smile that didn't reach her eyes. Welcome back to Loose Women. As you just witnessed, Kate Winslet has left the show. Now, I know some of you might be thinking that was uncomfortable to watch, but this is what happens when we ask celebrities the questions they don't want to answer. Jane couldn't stay quiet. Denise, that's not what happened. You attacked her from the beginning. I asked legitimate questions, Denise insisted. No, Nadia interrupted. You made accusations and assumptions. There's a difference. Kay addressed the camera. I think we owe our viewers and Kate an acknowledgement that today's interview did not go as planned, and we apologize for that. Speak for yourself, Denise snapped. I'm not apologizing for doing my job. Your job is not to bully guests, Jane said firmly. Your job is to facilitate interesting, meaningful conversations, and you failed at that today. The tension on the panel was palpable. The audience watched the internal conflict unfold, many appearing more interested in this than they had been in the original interview. Denise's voice took on a defensive edge. I will not be ganged up on by my own panel. If you three don't like how I conduct interviews, then perhaps you should find another show. Perhaps you should find some humility, Nadia shot back, surprising herself with her own boldness. What you did to Kate was wrong, and deep down, you know it. For just a moment, something flickered across Denise's face. Uncertainty, perhaps, or the faintest hint of regret. But it was gone as quickly as it appeared, replaced by defiance. I stand by every question I asked, Denise declared. And if Kate Winslet couldn't handle the heat, then she shouldn't have come into the kitchen. Kay sighed deeply. This isn't about heat. This is about respect, something that was sorely lacking today. The remainder of the show continued in awkward fits and starts, with the panel barely able to discuss the planned topics. The chemistry that usually made Loose Women work had evaporated, replaced by a cold war between Denise and her fellow panelists. Throughout it all, one image remained fixed in everyone's mind. Kate Winslet, rising from her chair with quiet dignity, refusing to be diminished by someone else's anger, choosing her own well-being over ratings or publicity. Walking away when staying would have meant compromising her self-respect. The purple chair where she had sat remained empty for the rest of the show, a silent reminder of what had transpired. A reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing a person can do is simply refuse to participate in their own mistreatment. The studio audience that had come expecting a fun afternoon of chat and celebrity gossip instead witnessed something entirely different. They saw what happens when hostility masquerades as honesty, when cruelty is disguised as courage. And they saw how grace under pressure looks when embodied by someone who knows their worth. As the show finally drew to a close, Denise maintained her defiant stance, unwilling to admit any wrongdoing. Jane, Nadia, and Kay exchanged glances that spoke volumes, their loyalty to their fellow panelist clearly tested by the events of the day. The credits rolled over an unusually quiet studio, the typical end of show banter absent. The audience filed out slowly, many still discussing what they had witnessed, some already reaching for their phones to share what they had seen. And somewhere outside the studio, Kate Winslet sat in her car, taking a moment to breathe, to process, to remind herself that she had done the right thing, that walking away from toxicity is not weakness, but wisdom, that preserving one's dignity in the face of hostility is not retreat, but strength. The entire encounter, from Kate's arrival to her departure, had lasted just under 40 minutes. 40 minutes that would be discussed, dissected, and debated. 40 minutes that demonstrated the difference between holding someone accountable and simply tearing them down. 40 minutes that proved not every battle is worth fighting, and sometimes the strongest move is to refuse to engage at all.